welcome the change of rhetoric of Donald Trump, especially in his latest tweets about Russian aggression. But we prefer not the words, but actions. With words, it's very difficult to fight Russian drones and missiles.
Now, Ukraine's First Lady, Elena Zelenska, is thought to have met Melania Trump on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. This comes after suggestions from Donald Trump that his wife was following the war in Ukraine. Now, in an interview with Janice Turner for The Times magazine, Elena Zelenska said Ukraine needed help from everyone to achieve its aims.
I believe that in our context, we need to use all the tools that are available. This is classic diplomatic tools and the classic diplomacy. I try to make use of it because we need advocacy and we need to engage as many people as possible to repatriate, to bring back Ukrainian children. That's the topic that I try to discuss with the First Lady and Melania Trump. And I hope that as soon as possible, we will be able to discuss that not by exchanging letters, but in some other format.
So the words of Elena Zelenska. You can watch that interview if you'd like to. It's in full, available now on the Times Radio YouTube channel. Let's have a quick word with Katie Balls, who's the Times Washington editor. How much do we know about this meeting between the two women at the UN General Assembly, Katie?
No, we don't know too much because there wasn't much of a meeting in the end. You had a situation whereby it had been briefed out that they could be having a one-on-one meeting, and then this was dialed down to a degree, and you had an informal advisor to Melania Trump go on Fox News saying, yes, the Ukrainian First Lady has requested this, but this isn't going to be a one-on-one. However, they did cross paths at an event I attended this week in New York, which was the launch of Melania Trump's new charity, a charity which is focused on helping children, has quite broad aims, but about technological advances, children's well-being. And in the audience in this hotel in Manhattan where the launch took place, you had the Ukrainian First Lady along with the Queen Rani of Jordan and others. And it was said that she was saying hello. So that would be the beginning of this in-person relationship, moving away from the letters, as we just heard.
I suppose that the really important point is, can Melania influence Donald Trump's thinking? What do you think?
I think in the second term, there are definitely signs that she does influence Donald Trump's thinking more than I think the first time around. So if you look at his changing positions on Ukraine, if you look at the fact at the Anchorage summit in Alaska, Donald Trump gave Vladimir Putin a letter from Melania about children. You also look at comments he said when he's talking about his relationship with Vladimir Putin, he'll say, well, I want to like the guy, I have a good call with him, and then I get home and say, I had a great call with Vladimir Putin, honey. And Melania will say, well, I've just seen that this city's been bombed in Ukraine. And similarly on Palestine, there was talk that when Donald Trump talked about Palestinians starving, some of that had come from his wife talking to him about that. So I think particularly on foreign affairs, humanitarian issues where children are involved, she is a voice, and a voice that obviously he hears quite a lot and in a way that advisors can't reach him on.
OK, interesting. Thank you very much, Katie Balls in Washington. Andrii Osadchuk is a Ukrainian MP representing the Holos Party. What do you think any meeting between the two First Ladies might achieve?
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me here. Look, I think talking about the US side, what I've heard from very different people in the United States, that in fact there are two women in this world who may have an influence on Donald Trump. That's Melania and Ivanka. And definitely they all are tracing humanitarian issues. I know that they all are very well aware about what's happening in Ukraine. Plus, we all knew that US president for the last 8 months was always referring to humanitarian aspect of Russian aggression in Ukraine. He was repeating hundreds of times that he doesn't like the killing of people in Ukraine. But at the same time, this story about Ukrainian kids is also very well known in the White House. So that's why I think Melania has and will have an influence on the president of US, especially on this humanitarian track. And definitely Ukrainian First Lady Olena Zelenska, she's also very, very, very much involved in all these topics. So that's why the ongoing contacts between First Ladies definitely may bring value.
Yeah, I mean, she's a very impressive woman. There's no doubt about that. Could you summarise how you think this UN General Assembly has gone in terms of how Ukraine has fared?
Look, the General Assembly remains a platform for speeches, which not really linked to actions. The one of the problem of Ukraine for the last 3.5 years of big war, that we have heard so many good speeches, especially here in Kiev, in Ukrainian parliament, hundreds of top politicians from all over the world, including United Kingdom, definitely was coming to Kiev and speaking to us. So we've heard a lot of good words, but at the same time, long war taught us that sometimes there is not just the gap. Sometimes there is an astronomical space between words and actions. So that's why, yes, we welcome the change of rhetoric of Donald Trump, especially in his latest tweets about Russian aggression. But we prefer not the words, but actions. With words, it's very difficult to fight Russian drones and missiles.
And can we also just have a very brief reaction from you to the fact that Volodymyr Zelensky has said in an interview with Axios that he would step down if the war with Russia ends? What would you say about that?
I think that we all shall not speculate about political future of Ukraine. We need to finish this nightmare, and not just to finish, but to be sure that it will never ever repeat it in future. So that shall be the focus of all our political, military, diplomatic, and humanitarian actions. I'm happy to see free and liberal Ukraine. And what we will do next, we will decide in Ukraine by ourselves.
I appreciate your time. Thank you very much indeed. Andrii Osadchuk is a Ukrainian MP. He represents the Holos Party.